Today we're going to talk about star photography just real briefly. Then I recommend, buying you can buy a really cheap remote shutter. If you don't have that and you don't want to dish out the money, I understand. Most cameras actually have a built-in timer. So what you do is you set it for 3 seconds, click the button, let go of your camera, don't touch it, don't bump it. Even the tiniest vibrations can ruin your shot. Press it, let go, 3 seconds later, it's going to take your picture and then wait for it to finish taking the photo. You're going to want to remember a tripod. Very important, again, for the same reason. You don't want it to be shaking. A sturdy tripod and a tripod plate. You do not want to forget the plate. I also recommend a flashlight or a headlamp. I've got a little headlamp that's red and only red. That way it doesn't bother other people around me. It's not going to, the white light can really affect your eyes and make it hard for you to adjust. The red is usually a pretty safe color to go with. You're going to want to set your camera to manual. And if that's a little bit intimidating, I also have this cheat sheet that goes over the settings briefly and what the different numbers will do. Click the link in the description. That'll take you to a page to sign up for my newsletter. You'll be able to download these for free as PDFs. So set the camera to manual, set your camera to live view so you can be able to see exactly what's going on. Open your aperture wide. We want to get as much light as possible. In most of these checklists, I say to keep your ISO low. Start low and bump your way up. For this, we're going to start high. We're going to start at about 1600. If needed, bump it up to 3200 or higher. Adjust white balance. I like to try to get around 4000 Kelvin. If you don't know what that means, that's fine. It's just in your white balance settings, usually you can change it to a temperature, so 4000 K. That's what we're looking for. You're going to want to select your shutter speed next. We're talking about 10 seconds to 30 seconds. The Earth is rotating, and as it spins, you may look up at the stars and it's imperceptible, but they are moving ever so slightly. After 15, 20, 25 seconds, they're going to start to motion blur. Even if you're in focus, because they're moving while your shutter is open, it's going to draw a little bit of a line across your sky. And of course, if you keep it open too long, you'll see star trails. So keep that in mind. You don't want it too long, but you need it to be long enough that you can see, that enough light is coming into your lens and hitting your sensor to see stars. That's why we have our aperture open to get more light in. We've bumped up our ISO so it's more sensitive to light, and then we're opening our shutter long because it is dark out there. I recommend finding some interesting foreground. Going away from the city where it's dark and then finding an interesting foreground such as trees or maybe an old building like a barn or framing the mountains a certain way. You could even take a flashlight, one with a white light, and paint the tree with it as you're taking your photo, and that'll light up your foreground while you're taking photos of the stars. And then take your photo. Test, test, test. And then this checklist also talks about if you want to do a time lapse. The best way to do a time lapse is to have